This Week in League, NRL go to extraordinary lengths to provide realistic home game atmosphere, moving the surface of Brookvale to Campbelltown.
Melbourne to officially rename as the TikToks after Nathan Cleary makes all those bitches dance.
Hype train derailed as Bradman proves he's not the best at following instructions you could give to a fucking 3-year-old.
Plus, we look ahead to all the action for round 7 of the 2020 NRL season.
All that and more This Week in League. Welcome to episode 356 of This Week in League. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jay.
How you going, my man?
It's a good week.
Been in nature at all?
Fuck off. It's a very good week. Yes, after my nature adventure, but Monday have had the benefits of spending Monday evening in a bathroom with a couple of the lads, just absolutely shoving white stuff up our noses.
Okay, so...
And by that I mean cotton buds dipped in hair wax because I am at the fucking age where my nose hairs
protrude
can be seen from outside the fucking nose.
So this bath it was like just with hobos, just something you were doing around the fucking 44-gallon drum.
We did laugh at it that I was at a mate's house, who is involved in the health and beauty industry.
This is what people do these days, is it?
But
I remember we used to sink beers and fucking cook meat.
Again, it is funny when a guy calls two other blokes into the bathroom and says, "Whack some of that up there."
Did you perm your fucking pubes and bleach your buttholes together as well?
Well, who has fucking pubes anymore? You fucking caveman.
Well, yeah, I guess.
You know,
I don't need to. I don't need to shave my balls to make my cock look bigger. I can see it plenty.
It's not the balls you need to worry about. It's a little mound right above the root of the dick.
The dick
Just
root.
a bit of dick root. The trend at the moment is it's called the muzzle tuff, where you do that bit up the top and leave a few little curls hanging down each side.
So it looks fully acidic.
Yes. Plus, Mel Gibson won't rape you.
Yeah, at least that's the least surprising thing ever.
Yes.
Welcome, new listeners. Lately, rugby league podcasts have been featured on Apple Podcasts, and we have seen a dramatic, like 20% bump, which is pretty fucking hard to do these days. Because I mean, we've gone bump after every year's a bump, but this has been a significant bump, so it's great to see. So yeah, welcome, new listeners, and
fucking stick around if you like rugby league, as well as tip-top fucking life advice.
Yes.
Like, the world's a new place with no fucking nose hairs. I'm noticing smells I haven't noticed for years.
It's just like it's like you had a path and it became overgrown. So now, like in winter, when the snow starts falling, I mean...
I do find myself with my nostrils being like, the tip of a teenager's dick, where, the slightest breeze sets it off. And I'm just sneezing and can't help it. So now people think I've got the fucking Rona. So I get all the shopping aisles to myself, and my shopping's done in half the time too. So
that's good.
I keep winning.
Silver linings and everything.
Yes.
I don't have any real announcements or anything to start off the show with this week, so we'll just go straight into the news. The first story I have down here was the shocking story of the Warriors sacking their coach.
Yeah.
After their game on the weekend. Now, look, no one is going to try and say that the Warriors were travelling amazingly well.
No.
However, the Warriors are in a unique position in the competition this season.
Yes.
Whereas they are located however many fucking kilometres away from Sydney.
Yes.
Yet they have to uproot their entire organisation from the support staff, training staff, and the players.
Yep.
Away from their families,
yep.
away from their kids, and First, had to live in fucking Tamworth for 2 weeks. And
Yeah.
let me tell you, not great.
No.
And then they've got to live in the Central Coast second. I think they're at Terrigal now.
Yeah.
Also, not great. And
Like, I'm telling you, that there were Jews in 1944 going, those conditions are not so good.
Now these are
That's too Jewish.
Yeah.
Why am I Jewish?
because you're racist. But suffice to say, they are operating under an extreme set of circumstances and stresses that are unique to only them. I mean, Melbourne might have to fucking get pushed an hour flight down the road for
Melbourne have to do that. Canberra have to travel 3 hours every game.
Yeah, to get to a game. I mean, this is living in another country
your whole life
from your nearest and dearest, and I would dare say that old Steve has done a great job, as you can see with some of their performances, especially the first one when back in the revised competition.
Correct.
You see that he obviously had the ability to galvanise these guys. I mean, the fact is they've got a massive injury toll as well, to the point where they're looking like they've got a loan, they're loaning players and all that sort of thing. So what I'm trying to say, he was under, while they were travelling amazingly well, I mean, he was under a unique set of stresses in a shortened, potentially asterisk fucking season anyway, and he gets the arse. They have a wish list of preferred candidates. And they insist that this shortlisting process did not begin until after Kearney was dismissed on Saturday. Expressions of interest had flowed quickly, but the chairman, Rob Crute, said the appointment process would be rigorous. And Wayne Bennett, obviously, a name mentioned, he has vigorously denied that rumour. Jeff Tuvey said he'd be down if it happened.
Yep.
But from what I've seen from the players, the ones who've gone on the record, I think Tohu Harris may have been one of them. It sounds like that he was a very popular coach and given credit for kind of gluing the side together during this excursion across the ditch. And
Tohu Harris, coming from Bellamy land, is not a shitty judge of character when it comes to...
Well, he knows what a good organisation and system looks like.
Yeah.
He's lived it. Yep.
Now, this is what gets me with all of this fucking coach punting and the merry-go-round and all of this stuff. And I felt it with my own club when Penrith did their fucking Ivan to hook
Ivan's
to...
not sleepy anymore. He's come out of hibernation.
Yeah, it just highlights to me again, and I know I bang on about this a fuck of a lot, the fact that there are guaranteed contracts for NRL players, no matter how they perform, and the worst that can be done is to drop them to Reggie's.
Yep.
But you still have to pay them.
Yep.
Now, given they still have to pay the coach as well, but that's not the same. It's a soft cap versus a hard cap.
Yep.
But can you tell me a time, except for the Trent Barrett to Desi situation, that's about the only example I can think of where somebody swapped the coach and there's been this amazing resurgence.
And like usually when there's a coach changeover, there's often this little sort of a bounce back effect. But most of the time, it's like a dead cat bounce where
exactly.
They get sort of reinvigorated briefly with the change of environment.
Yep.
And that usually results in a bit of a bounce. But
it's almost the same bounce you get when you inject a couple of rookies into a team and they have that youthful exuberance that comes in for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, but you're right. Like the Desi one was massive, sustained,
about same team, and clearly most improved team of the following year.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
That's an outlier.
Yeah, because I'm just trying to go through now. Thinking the most recent coaching changes. Okay, we've had the Souths and Broncos switcheroo.
Yep.
We've had Ivan going back to Penrith.
Yep.
Dean Pay is on a similar. He was.
Now, even with that Desi one, I'll give you the caveat that is not a poor team. That was an underperforming team.
That was a poor coach. Yeah, exactly.
But that is a great side with representative level players throughout.
Yeah.
When has there been a case with these master coaches, even all of these master coaches,
they
had fucking stacked rosters. It takes a fucking team of superstars. Let's count back
you-
who won the premiership last year, right?
East, yeah. Well, obviously East.
Yeah,
Then
so look at the quality of their team.
his first team was premiership team first year.
There you go. So
many years ago.
Then you go back to that and you go to the Bellamy's. Look at his team.
Look, I'll give. But you know what? Some concessions I will make are that Bellamy put that team together when Cam Smith wasn't Cam Smith, and Billy Slater wasn't Billy Slater. You know
And
what I
also
mean?
not playing to the fucking same salary cap rules as anybody else.
Yeah, well,
And I know he lost Inglis and there was all of that other shit.
but those players, he pulled them out of Norths in Brisbane.
Yeah, 100% he
You know
did.
what I mean? They weren't those players then. He created them.
He did. He built that team.
And same for Desi. I mean, when he took over in the early 2000s after the Northern Eagles thing, their fucking cupboards were bare. And, he had to invent the Stewarts and Watmo. And,
Yep, he did.
Steve Matta, all these guys. So,
But then how did Desi do it, Canterbury?
yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think he did the same sort of thing, didn't he? He just did not with the same success. He made 2 grand finals, but I don't think that side wasn't assembled for him beforehand. I mean, I think
No, it wasn't.
he was he was responsible for bringing in like James Graham over,
Yep.
who was great at when he first those sorts of things. So I guess
But then look at the Dogs now.
yeah.
Again, this is what I'm saying.
Fucking dumpster fire, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm not trying to lay that on Des, but I'm trying to lay that on this coaching merry-go-round.
If Dean Pay were a quality coach, he would take that, and Lewis would be this kid that we sit here in 2025 and go,
Yep.
he's Cooper Croc or something. I mean, I'm not saying he would be because I'm probably not, but that sort of thing. Good coaches can do it, but good coaches are rarely in a position where they're available to jump on a mid-season coaching merry-go-round. That's probably more to the point.
Correct.
Who's sitting in the wings?
And with dumpster fires of teams.
Yeah, who's sitting in the wings as a absolute a gun top 5 coach that's currently available and free to do it. Doesn't exist. He's already got a job. All those guys.
Well, and again, like Tuvi, as much as he had success, he's an unproven entity.
Yeah.
Because of all the great reasons you said about Desi.
Yeah,
because that was essentially Desi's work.
He inherited that team completely, yeah.
He's the Ricky Stewart
Yes.
in that situation.
Yep.
But
even so, Ricky Stewart, he's brought all these poms out and stuff like that. He's done, to get the team, the faders to the team that made the grand final. He did do work.
100% he did. But, sorry, I was talking about his Roosters days.
When he got parachuted in the Roosters. Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. That was a fucking disgrace how that went down.
He's got his rings.
Yeah, he does. That he does.
Not for fucking 2003, though.
But look,
Midget
I
cunt.
know that the Warriors, from their perspective, is that they want the new coach to be involved in recruitment for next season, and they want them to, if they recognise this season as a traumatic and asterisk season anyway, and one that's probably destined to end in failure for them anyway, then they're like, well, okay, rather than just write it off as that and burn through it, get a new coach in now and give him the rest of the year to start working on things, plus the entire cycle of recruitment. And
the other interesting thing, and I've seen a couple of things pop up in the mainstream media about this, and it's not a terrible point to take, is that the Warriors have too much of a homegrown hero focus.
That's been the downfall of every New Zealand side since 1995.
Correct.
Whenever, yeah.
But does the new coach fix that? Do they change it? Is it worth a new coach?
Don't know. Well, they're there now.
This gets back to my original point. You got players on 3-4 year deals that you can't get out of because they're not in a situation where any of the players are hot property anywhere else, really.
Yeah, not really. No.
Like even the best of their best, like RTS.
Yeah.
Like he's not Roosters RTS.
No, he's not.
So they'd be paying the freight for a lot of their players if they were to get rid of them.
Yep.
To rebuild their roster. It's it's going to be ugly.
Yes. So we'll see. At the moment they're under caretaker mode with Todd Payton, who I remember was lower grades coaching at the Tigers for a while there, and there was a time there where Robbie Farah was sacking a coach every other week, And the Todd Payne's like, he's waiting for his turn. And they kept bringing in another sacrificial lamb for Robbie to fucking kill.
Yeah.
But
the other thing, did you hear the rumor that it was Isaac Moses that kept him in the job for so long, that he was supposed to be gone?
Break down what they were saying there. It was something to do with all the...
So the breakdown was that they wanted to get rid of Kearney last year.
Yes.
So after the remember there was that season where it was them and the Dragons all the way through.
Yep.
That was the infamous, if it's a penalty, please blow the whistle.
Yep.
And there were 35 fucking penalties a game.
Yep.
Because we don't enforce the rules. And by halfway, it was a 2-horse race. It was Dragons, Warriors, fucking daylight.
Yep.
And they were playing this gorgeous brand of football that naturally suited the Warriors because their guys were big and fast and powerful and were always getting quick play the balls, and they had these ginormous outside backs that were just monstering everybody else. Yep. And they looked fantastic. Then it went back to, you know what, if it's a penalty but not really a penalty, just let it go. Other reasons, they lost a bit of focus, but after that sort of showing of potential and then another disappointing season, they wanted to get rid of Kearney. But what ended up happening was that Isaac Moses, the player agent, who was recently deregistered by the NRL.
Pending appeal, yep.
Yeah, that's it, pending appeal. Also manages half a dozen or so of the club's biggest players. And he basically said that if they sacked Kearney, then he would get his players to leave the club.
Correct.
So, at that stage, what I find hard to believe, if I'm the Warriors management, then what I do is call all of the fucking players into a room and say, I just want to let everybody know that we're not happy with a couple of things and we're looking to make some changes.
Yep.
However, Isaac Moses, and I know about half a dozen of you are repped by him, have said that if we get rid of anybody that he manages, he's going to convince all these other people that he manages to leave the club as well.
Yep.
So we just want to say that if you care more about what your manager thinks and him getting paid than what we're trying to build here at a club, then fucking suck our dicks from the back. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Fucking enjoy whatever other club it is you land at.
Yep.
You fucking mercenary cunts.
Motherfucker can have he can earn 6.5% of the 100% that we're currently paying you.
Yep.
If that deal isn't sufficiently adequate, then he can take 6.5% out of the fucking $0 that you're going to get when we kick your cunt back across the
exactly.
Or
exactly.
To wherever.
And it's what I don't get. Like, can you imagine, and especially in today's social media driven landscape, is there any club that doesn't get fucking immediate respect? Like, is there anything else you could do that would get you respect from almost all followers of all other clubs? If someone else did that, I would be like, well, fucking big dick energy, Warriors. Fucking good on you.
Yep. Standing up against the scourge.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but apparently they didn't. And now that Moses has been deregistered, it gives them the opportunity to immediately move Kearney on in fucking shithouse circumstances.
Look, the timeline does add up, but
who knows
whether that's the case or not? I don't know. The Knights have suffered a huge blow ahead of Saturday's clash with the Cowboys after the true hype machine in Newcastle, Bradman Best, was ruled out of the team for breaching the NRL self-isolating protocols. He now has to isolate outside of the club's bubble as a precautionary measure. He went to his parents' house on Saturday and did not seek permission from the Knights in the NRL to do so. So under the COVID-19 restrictions, players are allowed to have visitors to their home, but they need to seek permission to visit family or friends. He did it after he visited them, so they in turn informed the NRL, and it's a low risk thing, but he's got 7 days outside the bubble now. Dumb mistake from a kid.
Yeah. Can I ask that? How is this with the Benji one?
Yes.
He's given the reporter a peck.
Yes.
The reporter got the Rona test.
Yep.
Was shown to be negative. And so Benji was then considered not at risk.
Yes, because I guess otherwise he was operating within the bubble, which is a safe zone.
So is it the fact that he left? So, but what's the bubble though?
I guess that's like home training.
But that's what I'm saying. So they're saying that everything between your training and your house is safe. But if
Yeah,
he says,
don't
I
think
got in my car, I went to my parents' house, and
Yeah, but I don't think they're particularly allowed. They're not allowed to go down the cafe or anything.
so what about if you
Remember
need petrol for your car?
you can do all that sort of stuff contactless these days, can't you?
Yeah. But I'm saying, so if he went to his parents' house,
Yeah.
why is that different? Why can't they just go give the parents the fucking nose fucking? I'm just curious. I'm not saying they should or...
I would, if I had to guess, I would say that perhaps that the reporter having access to
There
the
was
player
already
bubbles, there was
some
probably already
pre-testing.
some
Yep.
sort of
Makes sense.
they were probably under some sort of mapped out schedule of stuff they could do as well, which made it easy. However, if you go to your parents' place and say your brother and your sister and whatever whatever's there, then you basically quadrupled the amount of people that you need to contact trace, and they're people you haven't been keeping tabs on anyway. So
Yeah,
it
gotcha.
just turns into this massive cluster. So I guess I'll just fucking chill. I don't know why it's 7 days though either. I mean,
Yeah. Isn't it 14?
yeah, because I mean, if it's 7 days, what if it manifested itself on day 9? And he goes back there. Well, I mean, gets Newcastle out of the cop, and that's not the worst thing that could ever happen.
That's
So,
true.
Eat that bat, Bradman. And when you do, make sure you give it your best.
Oh, there you go. See, why didn't we have that as one of the lines? Something about a Bradman and a bat.
Oh, God fucking damn it. Shit. Ah, shit. David Fifita is looking to be receiving an offer from the Gold Coast Titans, $1 million a year for 5 years.
Yes.
The Broncos can only afford a maximum of $700,000 a year.
Yes.
So, Mal Meninga, the Titans' head of performance and culture, has held a number of meetings with Fifita over the move, most recently last month. He's off contract at the end of the year, but he's been expected to remain there for 2021.
Uh-huh.
However, Broncos only being able to afford $700,000 per season would be $1.5 million less than the Titans offer over the 5 years. And the Titans are so convinced by Fifita's potential, they are open to the possibility of an even longer contract, up to a decade.
Jesus. Goddamn Titan.
Akin to the Jason Tamalolo at the Cowboys deal. So,
Fucking hell. Stop fucking the market by paying for potential.
on one hand, I feel like the Broncos are playing the Titans this weekend, so it's just great news copy.
Correct.
So, but having said that, the Titans could definitely use a David Fifita character in their pack going
100%
forward.
they could.
And if they want to spend that money, look, he's very. I mean, he does have the potential to be that kind of player. But like you said, it's the potential.
Yes.
I mean, he looks fucking great, but yeah, I mean, the most expensive guy on your team.
Yeah.
And
Well,
not to,
is
not
he?
to, well, he would be at $1 million a pop, wouldn't he?
Isn't Ash on?
Is he on $1 million or is he like on 950?
I thought that was his
Yeah.
thing, that he was a mill.
Yeah. I mean, those two sucking up $2 million out of the cap. Fifita's obviously a much more reliable player than Ash is.
But then again, there's the conundrum for your half. If you're paying your half money, is a better use of more money to get a forward pack that makes his job easier?
Yeah, I mean, you pay Ash Taylor what he's worth. That's what I think, and spend extra money on another forward.
But again, we get down to this thing that there's no provision for performance after you've signed that contract.
That's right. That's right.
And it's fucked so many clubs.
And it would only take it would take such a massive undertaking to change things, because the NRL would have to move to a NFL style situation where players can get a chunk of change as a sign-on bonus. They can get a rich, lucrative deal, but components of that, only like a percentage is guaranteed, and the rest is based on performance incentives that sort of vest over the course of a season. But
you know what that does? That also fucking actually brings in the need for a decent negotiating player manager.
Yes. Negotiate, I mean, look, if you've got a player who's an absolute gun and has the confidence that they can deliver, and also, I guess, injury is also a concern. But if you can, if you can get in and say, look, I know cap's tight, like my guy, he's $1 million guy.
Yep.
We'll go 600. But
then,
if he does X, Y, Z, then
that's
he's got the potential to earn like 1.3.
It's when Souths bring in James Roberts.
Yep.
And they say, we're going to support him 100%, but he has had issues in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So this percentage of it is based on him, fucking James Harden over there. An annoying, hairy black pussy. But, sorry, I'm not talking about James Roberts there. I'm talking about your cat that just walked in. That would be perfect, but alas, not to be. But fuck, that would just tank the market for forwards.
Yeah. Jason Talmalolo would have to be he'd be the benchmark on how you earn your additional KPI funds.
He is, but again, look at him. Has he just proven that, look, as brilliant as he is, and as hardworking, and you could not ask for a better example of putting in after signing a life-changing deal.
Yes.
How's the rest of the team going?
Yep. I hear you.
Fuck, Gold Coast.
So there you go. The money does go into the halves.
Yeah.
And then the forwards, you just have to get, you have to take the Bellamy sort of standpoint and just get guys that can do a job.
Yep.
And issue them a set of, a limited set of simple instructions.
I'm going to make you brilliant at these few things.
Yep. That's all you got to think about on the field.
Yeah.
Do that and you're golden.
That's it.
And, I'll pay you $350.
Yeah.
Like proper $350, not Loch Ness Monster $350.
Again, fucking eat dicks Broncos, because the fact that, and I heard the quote from Lockyer, that the club doesn't have a pulling power anymore.
Yep.
You can't recruit for unders, which is what he was saying they were doing. Yep. What he meant to say was the thoroughbreds aren't paying us as much as they used to. And I say that full well, knowing 3 thoroughbreds and knowing exactly how their fucking operation worked. And they're smart enough that they got out of the business, while pretty much everyone they have ever dealt with is still gruntled.
Yeah.
They saw that after Wayne left, that the potential for players to become disgruntled was high.
And land them in the potential
in the
storm
shit
situation.
So
whistleblowers.
Yep.
So
we shall see what happens with that one.
Yeah, you hate to see it. Is there any other news articles in particular you want to talk about?
Not of any great importance. There's usual fucking clickbait.
That's the thing. I mean, you go through and you got to filter out the clickbait stories. Like there were no less than 4 Wayne Bennett's going, to Dogs or Warriors or whatever stories, or bullshit.
It's the same thing. Whenever, again, let's realise that whereas previously journalism, and especially sports journalism, were by people that loved the sport generally, or sport more generally, these days it is a fucking clickbait empire, and they need clicks to make revenue. And so what you do is, if you write an article that says Wayne Bennett linked with such and such, then you're guaranteed clicks from all of the fans of, in this one, the Warriors.
Broncos, Queensland, and the destination club that has been mooted to...
Correct.
Yep.
In this one as well, also all of the fans of the current club he's at, because they want to know what's going on with their coach, plus all of the general people that are going to look at it as well. And then the articles are simply speculation.
Well, there's the thing. They don't need to have anything other than a succulent headline.
Yep.
Once they don't give a fuck once you hit the page,
and
the
then
ads have loaded, and
and they say shit like, the master coach's move across the Tasman is not as far fetched as it may seem. Yeah. So they actually say
it actually says nothing. That literally means
exactly
nothing. Yeah.
And they're like, well, if this happens, or if this happens, and if this happens, it could potentially open the door for a move for Bennett.
Yeah.
Fucking what?
Yeah. I mean, you could insert any person as the subject of that sentence.
I would fucking love, and I forget which country it was, but I heard it on an episode of Freakonomics podcast.
Okay.
And it's this weird, fucked up Eastern European country where witches are still a thing, and people go to them like fortune tellers, and it's shit like, will I have a baby with it? And people use that to know if they should stay with their wife or not.
Fuck hell.
Ex-communist places, they're fucking doing it tough. But finally, the government brought a law in where that if somebody made a prediction and it proved incorrect, then you could go back to that person for retribution. And I would fucking love for there to be a system in place where you could go to journalists at the end of the year and actually tally up.
Yeah.
These are all the articles you wrote. Mm-hmm. This many contained actual news.
Yep.
This many was clickbait shit. And out of all the predictions you made, these were the ones that actually eventuated. So, what the fuck? You now owe the general public all of your fucking money and maybe 3 of your children. I don't know.
Oh, they're fucking dumb kids.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Raised by those cunts, can you imagine?
Fuck me.
And the less said about Fox and their bullshit the other night with Latrell. I mean, just absolutely get fucked.
What's that?
The Latrell in the dressing room.
Oh, the moment he had with...
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
Just, like, absolutely get fucked, you stupid fucking cunts. Dead set.
I didn't even see what that was.
Because
on you know, the minute they start previewing something...
Yep.
An exclusive about why...
Yep.
Like, well, fucking, this is just absolute shit country.
Yep.
So I want no part in it.
Exactly. Recaps, and we say it every week, but they're going to be quicker this week. Well, I'm fucking exhausted tonight, so need to keep them brief if we possibly can. Thursday night, we kicked off with the Newcastle Knights 27 defeating the Broncos 6 at Central Coast Stadium in front of a grand old crowd of 167. The Knights 27 came. It's, you know how it goes.
It's the official crowd.
It's the 4 meters squared thing,
yep.
You know, like, yeah. The Knights 27 came through tries to Kurt Mann, Heimel Hunt, Mitchell Pearce, and Daniel Saifidi. Ponga 4 of 4 conversions, a penalty goal, and a field goal to Pearce. I'm going to say it was disrespectful. The Broncos try to Xavier Coates, and a conversion to Herbie Farnworth. Any thoughts?
Couple of thoughts. The Broncos have no fucking end of set general anymore. Croft had a decent opening couple of games. And
he had a couple of great ends to sets early on.
Yep.
But he's turned invisible, like he's gone Milford-esque.
Yes, he has. And that Broncos pack are, on paper, I'm trying to think of a better forward pack on paper. You know, there are obviously better performing ones at the moment.
In first halves, though, they're even, I haven't looked at the stats, but I mean, like, I feel like they're performing well in first halves as well. I mean, they're getting run down fucking terribly in the second half of games.
They are.
And conceding penalties and and all that sort of shit.
They certainly are.
But, yeah, you're right. On paper, though, they're right up there.
Exactly. And I'm saying that with, again, you look at the Roosters, best performing team in the comp.
Yep.
Their forward pack are good.
It's like Jake Friend was about to get fucking shopped.
But that's what I'm saying.
2 years ago.
If you had to describe the Roosters forward pack, it's old.
Yeah.
They don't have current.
Well, they got a lot of young guys. I mean, you think you look at like Friend and
Friend
Jared
and Leathers.
Yeah. They're old as shit.
They are.
Other than that, though, they're fairly.
Yeah, I suppose,
Radley and Crichton. And
Crichton, yeah.
So, I mean, they're young as fuck. And, SST, he hasn't been around that long.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, they got 2 old cunts. That's what I'm trying to say.
I'd say they're experienced, but I wouldn't say... I'd say they probably do 10 younger than you think. But yeah, Jared Hargraves, he's old as shit.
Yeah, old as shit. Yeah. So is Jake Friend.
Yeah, he's older than a motherfucker too.
So their average is middle-aged.
They dragged the average up to 2 of those. Exactly. They're like 46 years old or so.
The Broncos aren't playing as a pack. The thing you need from your forwards, and the thing you notice in all of these great teams performing at the moment, is that when their forwards choose to lift, they lift together. And they get the roll on, and it's set after set after set, and they aim up in defence. This Broncos pack, again, the potential brilliance in them is outstanding, But it doesn't work when one of them decides to get up for a couple of tackles or one of them decides to come in for a big hit and the others aren't doing anything to back it up immediately after.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you might as well not do it in the first place. To the Knights' credit, you know, Ponga's absolute fucking shit country. Some people call it gamesmanship. I look at that as almost as bad as diving. And I'm a little bit disappointed that it was so fucking blatant. You must get to your feet to play the ball.
Yeah.
And there are players pinged every fucking week for trying it on.
Mm-hmm.
And to put some, ease on the referees, it was in a very tense moment.
Yep.
Everything was heightened. It was after a break. Try-scoring opportunity may have presented itself. They're trying to assess everything. So there's a lot more going on for the referees.
Yep.
But that's where the bunker should catch that.
Yep.
That's where the bunker should step in and say, no, he wasn't on his feet.
When you say milking, it's just as simple as that.
Yeah,
really.
That's it. The Broncos' goal line defense, I feel, is a bright spot for them. But in attack, they are just absolutely nowhere. And
Bomb
that
the coats. Bomb the coats.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
They'll try some shit on the left.
Yep.
And Milford don't want to do shit, so it's not going to happen.
That's it.
So bomb the coats. Which, to be fair, is like if you can get the kick in the right spot, it's a good option. But
fucking oath. It's a great option.
When it's your only option, though.
But then when that goal line defense starts to crumble, the whole ship just falls apart.
Yep.
There's no leader. There is no leader in that team, and that's been the comment I've made to them all year. Siebes has got his fucking work cut out for him, I'll tell you that much.
In the interest of lighting a candle, not for the Broncos, I'll just burn them down, but Daniel Saifidi this year is far more improved.
Isn't he what?
He's actually, like, if he were to get selected for Origin this year, and being an incumbent, I can't imagine a reason why he wouldn't. He actually deserved it this year. He's playing so well, he would actually deserve his call up this year.
Yep.
As opposed to last year where he did fucking nothing and, was just there because he was Clemmer's fucking, what do you call him, understudy.
Yeah.
at club level.
Well, how often has someone been picked in rep footy because of a combination or a relationship? Yeah. It's not unheard of.
Tweets, I guess.
Tweets. Cody J said, Clemmer was targeted by Lodge and TPJ all night but kept backing up. And fucking wasn't he absolutely railed, but straight back into it.
Yep.
Fucking love Clem. Saifidi Twins set a platform for the Knights too. Kurt Mann as well. Once he went off, Knights went into autopilot and didn't throw much at the Broncos. Very true. LV said, Kurt Mann, fuck me, the bloke gives his all every week. He's been absolutely busted the last few weeks, but he held the gloves up and been one of our best consistently. Hashtag fuck the Broncos. Our friend at King Levius said, old mate that yelled out bagging Darius deserves all the credit. And he did get all the credit. Little known fact, that was actually Anthony Seibold. At Deformo96 said, easy 2 points tonight, solid performance, just a solid team all round. Glad we have some decent defence this season. Keep it up, boys. And Toto TV said, still trying to work out what the Broncos do at training. It's not attacking plays and it sure as hell isn't defence. You have summed up the fucking Broncos.
Well, they listen to DJs and shit, don't they?
Yeah, that's it. And OG Johnard said, the Broncos are pretenders. The Knights were there for the taking tonight and they showed nothing to suggest this team has won 6 premierships. I'm ready to do a bargain-based swap sale on Milford to Melbourne, even if Bellamy turns his form around. Put your house on the Titans next week.
Sorry, can you repeat what he said about, what was the 6 premierships thing he said?
There is nothing to suggest this team has won 6 premierships.
Well, that team ain't won shit and ain't gonna win shit.
I think he's trying to say
it's a
that
proud
they have
club
no pride in the
history
jersey.
Of 6,
Yes. And Jason Moran said, fucking getting pathetic now. Have a go, you cunts. Perhaps practice holding the fucking ball for a full set.
Yep.
2 distinct differences in fan groups right there.
Yeah, I mean, Cruzy did make a good point as well. I mean, it was a pretty scrappy game, and Newcastle had a long period there where they couldn't do anything either,
Yeah, that's it.
Poor handling. And Broncos will drag a team down to their level, though. Friday pub slot game, the Rabbitohs 40 defeated the Warriors 12 at Bankwest. The Rabbitohs tries came a double to Alex Johnson. Campbell Graham, Adam Reynolds, Braden Burns, and Cody Walker with tries. Damien Cook as well. 6 of 7 conversions to Adam Reynolds. The Warriors 12 came through tries to David Fusatua, Ignatius Parsi. Conversions 1 to Nicarima, a penalty goal to Nicarima. That's it.
Yeah, South's just every week. It's that Wayne Bennett thing. Little bits. And
on Latrell watch, he's still not there as a fullback.
No.
But in attack, though, chiming into attack, fucking lethal.
Yes. And just, like, so fucking good at tiny little things that are difficult to do. That's Latrell's thing.
Yep.
That he just does hard things exceptionally well. This game I don't really think was ever in doubt.
No, not at all.
But looking over it, the possession was fairly even. The completion rate for both teams was very fucking poor. Like the Warriors completed at 69% and Souths completed at 66%.
How much of that was like second half for Souths?
Yeah.
They would drag them right down,
But overall,
yep.
I'm trying to think of any game I've seen close to a team having about equal possession, completing it close to 65% and putting 40 on someone.
Yep.
That is such a fucking outlier.
And what it does is it leads to the conclusion that the Warriors, when they made their mistakes, they were sort of coming out of their own end and gifting possession, field position to the Rabbitohs.
They were, but it also leads to their missed tackles. The Warriors had 30 missed tackles, and South of that team, where their running game's their strength.
Yep.
So a missed tackle leads to a line break or a fucking quick pass, and then all of a sudden...
Yep, they're on a roll and scoring the next tackle.
Yeah, that's it.
Hit the tweets if you've got nothing else.
Warriors suck balls, said...
Oh, they do too.
Yeah, they do. Warriors' attack is boring and predictable as fuck. Serious lack of threats outside of the halves. Good to see Fuss back, but some cunt smacked him in the head, gave him concussion, and got a sympathy pass from the bunker for being emotionally fucked up. Cox and Diamonds. Jesus Christ. John, Facebook group, said, Souths can easily stop wasting their captain's challenge by asking themselves, is it Burgess? And Winston in the Facebook group said, I don't want to bash Mitchell, but I can't tell if he can't read the game or just doesn't give a fuck when it comes to defending the try line. I think it's a bit of both, but I don't want to say it's not giving a fuck. I just want to say that he is legit absolutely gassed, and he doesn't have that do-it-anyway gear in him.
Yep.
Like, there are some players that get to that, I have 0 in my fucking tank, but I have this next fucking gear in my head that I can go to.
Never say die.
That's it. And I'm not sure Latrell has that.
That's it?
That's it.
The Penrith Panthers 21 defeated the Storm 14 at Campbelltown. The Panthers 21 came through tries to Crichton, To'o, and Kickow. Cleary 3 conversions, a penalty goal, and a field goal. The Storm's 14 tries to 1 to Sykes Felice Kafusi, Branko Lee, and 2 conversions from Cameron Smith, and a penalty goal.
Well, is anyone fucking doubting that it truly is the hashtag Yeary of Cleary? Because he was fucking mammoth in this game. And the thing that I've wanted to see from Nathan for years has been consistency. He's always had it in him, and he's always had these sporadic periods of greatness. But here he is backing it up. Fantastic game last week. Another fantastic game this week in all of the areas that you want your half to really, really, really shine. To support him, James Fisher-Harris just continues to be absolutely fucking menacing. He's almost doing, as you alluded to before, there's that Bellamy mould about him where there's 4 things that he thinks about when he gets onto the field, and he does all 4 of those exceptionally well. Just like the Para game the week before, this was real end-to-end shit. Each team, for some reason, went through this weird period of just giving 7 tackle sets away. So it was almost every couple of sets they were attacking, and there was some absolutely fucking great defense there. The Storm defense, it still just fucking boggles me how they can absorb pressure on their line. The thing that the Panthers are getting better at these days is being able to delay gratification for themselves. It's being able to say that, okay, we've been down there for 3 sets, we didn't get a result there, but you know what? That's still a good fucking investment in this 80-minute game.
Yeah.
They're not doing that Penrith thing where they get 3 sets and they don't score, so they go to fucking pieces because the world's ending and they don't know what to do. They're happy to play the long game. Appy was tremendous, and again, just shows what a fucking energetic hooker can do for a team, especially with these new rule changes. However, didn't fucking need it. Not 1-6 again call, and still beat the fucking Melbourne Storm. Like, really, what else do you need? The only better thing in this game was cunt-face Smith going and bitching about a fucking call. And who'd have thought Ashley Klein
I
would
tweeted
get
something right at the time when it happened as well. Like, out of everybody, if you had have sat me down and said, look, the person who's going to actually stand up,
like for Cummins to send him,
yep,
you know, Cummins occasionally likes to throw some big dick energy around,
yep.
But for Ashley Klein to throw the fucking SmackDown line of all SmackDown lines,
the referee who knows the rules the least to lean on the rules so hard to fucking
and say
to shut Cameron Smith down,
but it was just such a good line.
Yeah,
I've ruled it. Are you going to challenge it?
Yeah.
Oh,
and the fucking coward, if he had challenged it, he probably would have won.
Yeah,
but he fucking
I don't know.
Yeah, he didn't move off. He didn't move at all.
He turned.
No, but you can turn to you got to turn and chase. He didn't step off his line or change or anything. All he did was just turn around and brace for impact. So
that's open for interpretation.
Well, I mean,
Nathan Cleary surely would have scored, and probably would have been an 8-point try.
Yeah, none of those things are true. But but the thing, Ashley Klein, fucking of all people, Ashley Klein is the guy that actually just big dicks Cameron Smith to the point where he didn't exercise his right, which he probably would have won on. But he just got he was so taken aback by Ashley Klein of all people.
Is there a thing though that I don't know about with bald cunts? Because Cameron Smith is starting to get the fucking bald patch on the back.
Yeah.
Like
and his hairline starts at like his ears.
Yeah, was Klein fucking throwing down some fucking bald cunt authority in terms of like fucking new kid? Let's remember your fucking place in the pecking order here.
Like communicate in other way, like like echolocation or something, like like fucking dolphins.
Like just Morse code shining the fucking lights off their chromes. Look, for the Storm though, that fucking pass that Munster threw. Jesus Christ.
But he threw that other one as well for Felice Kafusi, where it was like the two, I can't remember who was inside of Kafusi, but they were running pretty much shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
And they were running in line with each other, shoulder to shoulder, and he somehow lasers it to Kafusi and without any interference from the guy on his left. Like, it's fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, like that guy. And again, just periods where you look at him and you think, fucking, how does the physics work?
Yeah.
With you weighing what you do, those cunts weighing what they do, and you're running with them dangling off you.
Yeah.
There's some fucking magic going on there. But again,
look, I think
can't pass to kick out, kick to kick out, and
and the thing with the Storm as well. I mean, like Sevi out there on that wing, and more importantly, Riley Jacks is not. Like, he did not gain anything from the fucking Titans system in his 1 year vacation.
No, he did not.
And he only went on his 1 year vacation to the Gold Coast because he was like 4th or 5th in line in the Storm system. Yeah. And it's just gone to show that he offers absolutely fucking nothing.
Yeah.
And in such a close game like that, you can't afford to have one of your, alleged playmakers not contributing to the fucking result.
I do like Jerome holding back a little bit more on that left-hand side. Like his running game, again, has always been his strength, his running game and his short kicks.
Yeah.
Much better showing from him. But to the tweets, Paul Mac _78 said, great game of footy. Both Penrith halves played well, as did Munster. But whenever I see kick out, I half expect Pepe Le Pew to be bounding along behind him.
Honestly, UFC fans will fucking understand this reference, but it's like
I don't think UFC fans will understand much.
He's walked into the barber, it's probably like a barber called like fucking G-Trax or some shit like that. And he's walked in there and the guy's like, "You kick out from the pen." He goes, "Yeah, what can I do for you, mate?" And he goes, "Give me the Josh Koscheck, except make it look 16 times more fuckhead than his hair was." I know just the thing. Done.
Cool.
It's one for the fucking old school MMA people.
Okay. So basically, you're tweeting to that one guy who moved to Melbourne who talks about the fucking Irish cunt all the time. Way to fucking micromanage a comment. Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh, we'll get more than that, believe me.
Yeah, okay. No, it's called the fucking Centurion. Because it looks like the top of a Roman soldier's helm, which represents honor and discipline and valor in battle.
If he was doing it like more like a mohawk sort of situation, then yes.
That's what it is.
No, his hair is exactly as wide on top as his head. There's no fucking tapering or anything. It's just, and not only that, he got it fucking permed too. And so he's got this fucking blonde perm. That's like this.
No,
he's like got one of those fucking carpet.
That's a fucking genetic characteristic there, Aaron Molan.
He's got one of these fucking, one of those things when you got polished wood floors, those big sort of fucking.
Oh, so
like
now because he's black, he's got to clean the floors.
Yeah. Someone needs to fucking pick him up, lift him, turn him upside down, and fucking put him across the polished wood floors.
Jesus Christ.
With a little bit of fucking oil or wax or whatever the fuck you use. I don't know, polished wood floors, I don't know. But that was the last house.
At the kidney stone comer, which sounds fucking terrible. On Twitter says, "I've birthed more likable kidney bullets than Cam Smith." Ooh.
I've seen that. How persistent does your kidney stone condition have to be that you can create a Twitter handle of that condition and have it be relevant for more than like the week or whatever you spend in hospital?
Well, they're a Dragons fan, so you know. Watching Dragons games.
Oh, can't you? I mean, just change. I've never had a kidney stone. I don't know, but can't you just change your diet or something and like drink more water or some shit? Like, and it just the problem ceases to be a problem. I don't know. I mean, you tell me, kidney stone comer. I mean, how many? I mean, when he's talking about blowing the back out of someone, I mean, he fucking means it.
Unless he's talking about, maybe he prefers a little bit of anal.
Yeah.
And what he's saying is, I'm going to come on your kidney stones because I will fuck you that hard.
Potentially.
Maybe. Anyway, it doesn't like Cam Smith.
I don't know if that works biologically speaking, but I'll take your word for it.
Well, it's the opening. Like, if you want to get anywhere in Southport, you just got to get off at Smith Street. Like... I don't know. At Life is a Thigh Day said, "Suck it from the Akbay, Smithley, NRL Panthers Storm." So even fucking Broncos fans are now coming over and becoming Panthers fans. It's fucking great. Super Grover said, "At least we'll read out a Storm game comment next week." Well, fucking of course we would.
Make one.
Yeah. You know what? Give us better fucking content. Lunatic. Ben in the Facebook group said, "Cop that, you filthy, cheating, ref-paying southern fucks." Lee said, "Is there a better player in the NRL right now than Cameron Munster? Fuck, he's good." I don't know if that would be definitive, but he would definitely be in the conversation. But like anything, it's fucking hard. How do you measure, say him versus Teddy? As in, who's the better individual player?
Yeah.
John said, "Credit to Melbourne, considering they were up against such class opposition. #Yeary of Cleary. Fucking oath." Bethany said, "Panthers should have won by a lot more than they did. Storm's attack is so shit that even Chapo is more likely to score. Deep cuts. Old man Cam should have retired after last year. All he does now is ruin any halfback we try to run there. Whether it's Crofts last year or Hughes and Jacks this year. Only cunts in this team who are any good are Munster and the Cheese." That is correct. Our mate at Fat Hairy Lazy said, "Didn't get a 6 again, but didn't fucking need it. Booted the purple sluts. Cleary's so clutch, Michael Jordan wants his autographed. Hashtag Yeary of Cleary. Fucking oath. Fucking oath. Lee in the Facebook group said, Penny Panthers, too good for the boys tonight. TikTok's kicking game on point. Fair to say the Fox replacement won't see another purple jersey for a while. Pretty sure the Warriors won't be looking forward to next week.
Yeah, as it goes.
Yes.
Where are we? Okay, the St. George Illawarra Dragons 20 defeat the Titans 8 at Suncorp in front of a crowd of 1,930. The Dragons tries came to Zach Lomax, Ravalawa, Pereira, Lomax 3 conversions and a penalty goal. The Titans, let me scroll up, a try to Tanner Boyd and conversion to Ash Taylor and a penalty goal to Ash Taylor.
Yeah, it's a shame that the Titans didn't put up more.
This is one of the games that teams like the Titans need to circle as not grand finals, but golden opportunities to snatch 2 points, whereas they, not necessarily the case in other games. And,
that is correct.
And considering the glimpses of good form, I mean, they had that win 2 weeks ago. Then they had a pretty strong second half after the Horses kind of bolted against Souths last week. And
there had been signs of improvement.
You just expect more. And they certainly did not provide it.
No, not
Dragons, though, they must love Mary.
Yeah.
They're actually digging in on this. He had the 4 week thing.
Yep.
And this is week 3. Was this 3 or 4? This was the 3 or 2?
2.
2. Well, and they've just come straight out.
Yeah.
Bang, bang.
That's it.
Oh, no, the first one was the Dogs, and they lost that one. And then they've gone, and then they beat the Sharks, and then they beat the Titans.
That's right. So, you're right. It is right.
So look, at the moment he's 2-1, and
he's up for an extension.
Potentially.
Yeah, fucking Flanagan's got the Tonya Harding pipe out.
Yeah, the extension for exactly 1 fucking year until Flanagan comes off his ban.
Yeah, that's it. Fuck.
Any comments you want to make on this game? This game was incredibly unengaging.
Oh, look, I just think for the Dragons that consistency is key. Like the amount of fucking changes they went through.
Yep.
And if you look at all of the great sides of the last little while, they're the ones that are exceptionally well drilled. And you can only be so well drilled when parts of your play become unfamiliar. We went over it last week. If you are a Roosters player, and if you are at certain positions in their back line, how familiar with the side of Teddy's jersey do you get? Because you know where he fits in on each play and what that means you have to do to that. Yep. If you're in a situation in the Dragons where 1 week you got fucking Norman in the halves and then the next week he's at fullback and the next week he's there, it's just more that you have to do to really be on top of what's happening in that moment.
Yep.
And it fucking shocked me how a professional sports coach could keep doing that over and over and over and over. But fuck the Dragons. Mars bar shelving cock. On to...
Here's some tweets.
Yeah, relatively few on that. Dragons fans have gone quiet.
They're in shock.
A fan account at Rip Giannis said, a win on the same day as the AFL season under threat of ending because of Corona. The only way I can reach peak paprika is if Norman is released to the Dogs or the Sharks or fuck anywhere but us. Yeah, he's really got it in for Norman, doesn't he? Given his Twitter name has changed to Move Norman to Job Seeker. Devon Head said, soft draw over now. I feel 11th will be the highest we'll reach, which is just under the 9th place Tigers. That'll be enough to see Madge sacked and Mary given a lifetime contract. Jesus. Daniel in our Facebook group said, some points. 1, thank fuck that shit show of a game is over. 2, Ben Hunt is definitely only a 9. 3, Dufty's coming into his own at fullback. 4, has there ever been someone that has been re-signed only to get dropped the following week? Ravalawa. 5, we are going to get flogged the next 3 weeks. And finally, Kearney must not have known how to take photos like Mary does. Ha, go the Dragons. Yeah, interesting, isn't it? And Lando in the Facebook group said, we are above the Broncos on the ladder right now. I'd be okay if they stopped the season, especially before we get sacrificed to the Roosters next week. Fuck, this talk of being sacrificed and this, and it's not even like the Roosters coming off a loss. They're talking as if the Roosters got fucking analed.
Yeah. Oh, they just know how the way that the pecking order is laid out.
Yeah, true.
And there is definitely a haves and have-nots.
Correct.
The Tigers 36 defeat the Cowboys 20 at Campbelltown. Tigers 36 came through tries to Musgrove, Mbai, Leilua, BJ, Brooks, Aloy, and Jennings. Mbai 5 of 6 conversions and a penalty goal. The Cowboys 20 tries to double to Kyle Felt. Drinkwater and Masters with tries. Felt with a conversion, and Clifford with a penalty goal.
Yep.
And it was the stereotypical game of two halves.
Yes.
The Tigers were fucking racing the clock for the first 40, and it's probably the best 40 minutes they've put together. Remove the Cowboys' involvement from the game at that point, because there was some very soft fucking tries. But having said that,
you can only play what's in front of you.
Exactly, and the Tigers had come together as a team in attack better than they probably have at any point in the last 2 seasons. And boy, didn't they find a way to fucking take all that goodwill they generated with their coach at halftime and completely squander it to the point where it actually felt the Cowboys, it felt like they could actually bring it home at a point there about 15 minutes till the end.
Now, new listeners to the show, because there are so many new listeners to the show, I just want to give you a little bit of context around this. I myself am a loyal and long-serving Penrith fan. And so when it comes to discussing games that the West Tigers play, I can't help but notice my personal biases in terms of, Penrith doesn't have a fucking snake cunt of a CEO who took a job with another club and then spent his current employer's money to take an all expenses paid family fucking holiday to Disneyland at the end of the year. Who didn't fucking trumpet about how Nathan was definitely going to the Tigers and how he was going to be the saviour of the club. And who don't do fucking things like take veteran servants of our game that have bled for years, such as Benji Marshall, and fuck them off in what should be the twilight of their career.
Yep.
That and the fact that they employed that absolute cunt stain Robbie Farah that fucked New South Wales out of so many Origin victories, I can't go into that. It's fair to say that the Tigers and I have a somewhat rocky history. In saying that, credit where credit's due, they were very good in the first half. But if I'm Madge, looking at that second half performance, there's always got to be that bit of doubt in your mind where you say that, okay, they just put the cue in the rack because they were so far in front, and
which is probably the case,
and put it too far in the rack.
Yep.
But the fact that it was let to get to that stage, you want your team out on the field to when the Cows come back, with that first try, and then the second one, okay, fuck, the cue's in the rack, stop. But they didn't. And this game was a couple of possessions away and a couple of Cowboys' feet on the try line.
Yeah.
From being...
on the sideline.
From the dead ball line.
Yep.
From being the biggest fucking bottle job that I could consider.
And despite how perfect that first half was.
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty much flawless. And certainly, I guess it sort of, vindicated Madge and his recent selections somewhat.
Certainly did.
But, they still made that comeback in the second half. And if it's to believe that the reason why Benji was dropped because of the, statistics correlating line breaks leading to, missed tackles leading to line breaks and things like that, then, the Cowboys still found a way.
Yeah, they certainly did. And especially for the Tigers in this league where so much of it is, there's a large percentage of your victory in a game before you go into the game. Like at the moment, the Roosters are walking around, Parramatta are walking around, South to an extent are walking around with an advantage almost on the scoreboard before they walk out onto the field. Melbourne have lost that this year. Melbourne used to have that, and you can see what it's doing to them. Right? The Tigers had an opportunity when they came out and just fucking blitzed them to put the rest of the league on notice and go, fuck, maybe they're going to play to their potential of their players and their coach.
Yep.
But that all went to waste in the second half. It was fairly disappointing.
Hit tweets.
Super Grover said, if I was Madged, I would be pissed that there was no disrespectful field goal before half-time. OG at Sports Fans Life,
Real Dad,
who has made a resurgence on Twitter, don't call it a comeback, says, we're Westies. We don't own much, but we'll always own the North Queensland Cowboys. Oh, that's very sweet. New tweeter, maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen you before. I'm sorry. Vanessa Payno said, great first half from the Tigers. Lucky for us that the Cowboys kept stepping on the sideline in some of their comeback attempts in the second half, or it would have been worse. You are officially the most measured and fucking reality-bound Tigers fan that I've ever met, and that includes Biggest Tiger, who lives so far in Tigers fantasy land, it's not funny. At C64 Midrezi says, Green must have given them bollocking at half-time as they were regenerated in the second half. Lots of positives to take from the fact that they didn't drop their heads and fought very hard in the second half. They certainly did, and people like Cole Felt, I think, showed why he's worth the fucking money he's on, whatever they're paying him. Give him more. Winston in Facebook group said, it's like the Tigers ran out of fucks at the end of the first half. And Rusty said, having lost most of our bench in the first half, I'm not surprised to see the Cowboys creep it back a little, but fuck me, some game management from the halves would have been nice.
And yes, it is fair to that. They did lose 2 or 3 players through the course of the game.
Yeah, but, so did another team this round.
Yeah, and they didn't have to make any excuses, I guess.
Correct.
The Roosters 24 defeated the Eels 10 at Bankwest, crowd of 579. The Roosters 24 came through tries to Brett Morris, Boyd Cordner and Daniel Tupou. Kyle Flanagan 2 conversions and 4 penalty goals. The Eels 10 tries to Jennings and Sivo and Moses a conversion.
What a fucking cracking game this was.
This was a cracking game, but I've got a hot take to deliver.
Please.
Fresh out of the oven.
Please dump your hot steaming take all over the table.
Despite that period there, which ended when Teddy got trampled and that try happened over in the left corner for a 10-8 lead, I believe it was, to the Eels.
Yep.
The Eels were never fucking in this game, like realistically, a realistic chance of winning this game. The Roosters fucking had them covered easily in the first half. There was a brief period there for like 5 or so minutes where the Eels struck back kind of quickly. And despite losing one of their, if not best player in that play, the Roosters just went, oh, okay, that's how it is. It's a game, is it? Okay. Bang, bang, bang.
Yep.
And the Eels never looked, they never got close. They never looked to sniff. The Roosters just clamped down and then they just started pulling away to the point where it was, it was, they were well out of reach.
Yeah, I think the only other alternative outcome for this game in which Parramatta would have won, well, I don't know, maybe a bus accident, but if the Roosters had realistically had it far too easily the last couple of weeks, they went in and had 2 very big victories. Mm-hmm. If that have come out and pretty much been, I guess, out of competitive sorts, and by that I mean if that have gotten into a bit of a struggle and been, oh, fuck, we've been used to scoring every 3 sets and that's how we now have our mindset and this has just thrown us all out. Or if Parramatta could really get into that style of football they seem to play where it's almost like Moses personified. It's almost like if a football team could be a person, then they are Mitchell Moses and just fucking annoy and then break through. And they tried that. And it was effective to some extent. But the Roosters just showed that not only are they an exceptionally well-drilled team, but the scope of those drills and the scope of things that they are confident and comfortable in is very fucking wide-spaced. And so they went exactly as you said, righto, this is going to be a little bit of an arm wrestle for a while. Let's get into the fucking grind, and we'll just make sure that we are the ones dictating the tempo at all fucking stages. Add that to the fact that the Morris boys are fucking sucking stem cell smoothies
National
at halftime.
treasures.
Jesus fucking Christ.
National treasures.
Yeah. Are they, if we had to throw out a beer boy style power rankings, are they the greatest ever Australian twins?
Fucking who else are Australian twins?
Well, look, up until a little while ago, I know who my pick would have been.
Well, they are the great. Yeah, they are the
before one of them decided that, career before bros.
They clearly.
So yeah, greatest twins in the country. Still for Parramatta, plenty of positive signs. You're right. They were never really in it, but
this was a very quiet game for Mitchell Moses.
Yeah,
in comparison to what he's been allowed to do or what he's managed to do in games over the past couple of weeks when they've been winning.
Yeah,
and maybe that's the story. The Roosters just shut him down, or the game that the Roosters played kind of put him in his shell a bit.
Hammers said, and from this day forward, James Tedesco was known as Deddy. You say a lot about him, but that was just a fucking example of the difference between elite level players and others. So, how much has been said about defenders and especially fullbacks as defenders? Tedesco did the only fucking thing any human being could possibly do against a rampaging Sivo.
Yeah.
And unfortunately paid the fucking price, but did it anyway. Knew what the outcome was going to be.
Well, the thing, sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep, it's just the way it is.
Stuart said, imagine how good the Morris boys could have been if they had played for decent teams in their prime. Oh, that's a dig at so many fucking clubs, and I love it. Efficiencies. Fat Harry Lazy said, Eels are frauds. Penrith and Manly didn't lose to the Roosters. Well done in filleting both hosts in one tweet, sir. John said, gave it everything, absolutely fucking everything. Didn't get the rub of the green at all from the whistleblower, but was in it up to our eyeballs for 60 minutes or so. The proudest loss as an Eels fan I've had in years. Lesser Eels teams have folded like deck chairs under what the Roosters served up, but the boys stood strong and tall tonight, standing and applauding the sheer effort. We're in it to win it now, baby.
And that is why you haven't won goddamn thing in 3 decades.
Stop celebrating fucking losses.
Oh my God, the acceptance of mediocrity is absolute fucking poison.
Jesus Christ.
And the kryptonite to a good football side.
Yes. Supergrover said, every club has just watched the benchmarks for 2020. If every other player in the comp doesn't want to play with that level of intensity, then get out of the game. That is a fair comment. Sharky Dave said, fans of 15 clubs are trying to convince themselves they could beat the Roosters in a grand final. They can't. Not even losing Teddy slows them down. To borrow a Queensland term, NRL is dead. Just on that, I'm very glad that Sharky Dave is open to changing his mind when new information comes to light. So often these days, people I find are married to their ideas, in that they say something, and even if it's fucking stupid, they just stick by it.
It's theirs.
Exactly.
Exactly. Hashtag you Cleary.
No, that's the thing. That is an amazing thing, and it will happen. It is happening. We're living it.
Exactly. That's exactly what you were saying.
It's like climate change. It's real.
No, exactly.
It's real.
Exactly. You made your point.
Climate change is real.
You literally made your own. You made your own point.
But whereas I was having a nice conversation with good old Refs Falter at Ben Dunn, and Sharky Dave tried to come in and say that if the Roosters lost Tedesco, then there go their premiership credentials. So,
look, over the fullness of a season, maybe it might bring them, back a touch, but certainly in the context of this game, didn't seem to bother them too much.
No, I'm just saying well done for bowing to the ideas of your intellectual betters, you fucking sewer-grubbing Sharks fan. The final word on that one goes to Riggs, who... no, Riggs isn't getting too old for this shit.
I was going to say, where's Murtaugh?
Now, that was a game of footy. Massive defence from both teams, but the Chooks really stood up when Para upped the tempo at the start of the second half. That was finals footy. Indeed, it did have that vibe about it, sir.
That's it.
That's it.
The mighty Manly Sea Eagles 14 defeated the Raiders 6 at Campbelltown. The Manly Sea Eagles 14 came from Tommy Turbo tries and Tavita Funa. Garrick, 2 conversions and a penalty goal. And in fact, one of the conversions was out wide left too, which he's just about missed every fucking one this year, so that was very pleasing. Whitehead with the try for the Raiders, and Croker a single conversion.
In the interest of time, I'll let you have this one.
This is literally one of the greatest fucking wins that I've ever seen from the club. Not ever, but like in recent history. It hasn't been a new thing. Like, over just this short time that Desi's had them over the last 18 months or so, they've displayed, the determination to guts out wins, multiple times per season, against odds, and this were fucking no greater odds. I mean, like, what was it? 3 minutes in, they were down to 16 players.
Yep.
And losing at one of the halves. Fucking 4 minutes in, they're down to 15 players. Lost the center and stick a fucking back rower in the centers. And I mean, Jetski has done it periodically for small patches of games before, but I mean, you're playing against fucking Canberra, who are nickel clock stat this and fucking George Williams that, and fucking Rapana and all these fucking guys. It's supposed to be this attacking blitzkrieg of a fucking team.
Yep.
And you're sticking a second rower, a bench second rower, out in the fucking centers, and you just expect to get absolutely. And when on the other side of the field, when you've got a replacement player on the other center, and it's just you're just waiting for the hell to fucking rain down. But Jetski, fucking to his credit, the lad did a fucking great job, and I mean he was being targeted by that ugly fucking pig-faced ranger with Corey Horsburgh incessantly.
Have you seen? I loved him in King of Staten Island. He was fucking great in that.
But I said on Facebook in the game thread, I said he's such an ugly fucking ranger.
Yeah,
that it makes me wish that Hudson Young had come and visit me and take my fucking eyes, so I don't need to see that cunt again. So and then to be down to one interchange pretty much at half time, and 2 for almost the entirety of the game. Massive shout out to Lachlan Croker. He's done it before, and he's going to do it. He's going to have to do it again. But he came on, slotted into the halves, and it was a revenge game for him. Obviously, starting his career in Canberra, and fuck, he lifted. He's just amazing, and just the team in general, already down to Powell, Sully, and that. It was already a danger sort of game coming in under strength, to lose like another fucking quarter of the strength, and to prevail was just fucking. It was just fucking amazing. Like it's not, and like people are like, oh yeah, so brave. Bravery, no, so brave is when a team goes through all this shit and just loses.
Yes,
it's not fucking. It's godly when you fucking actually go through it and win, and not only win well, and the Raiders had a couple of opportunities. How Croker fucked that fucking one up where he took that bomb like out from the line, and then like the original, like the live view of that try, that attempted try, was from behind the play. So you see the ball go over, and you see him jump up, and you see his back, and you just see him over the line. You're fucking obviously that's a try, but to actually to bomb that was, and the other big play was when Ciro, who's only just back from injury himself, him drifting out, I mean, playing out in the centres in the second half, and going up against one of the great finishers of the last couple of years in Jordan Rapana.
Yep.
And he's going for the corner, doing the thing he normally does, and to actually have the presence of mind to fucking get his legs, put him on the ground, and then shift him across the line before he could put it down, was just fucking incredible. And I mean, like every player on the field had that kind of effort level that required to get them home against a team that was far higher class attacking players, by the end of the game. And just when this game with the 6 again thing, when it's all predicated on fatigue coming back into the game and teams getting blown out as they fatigue, to not do that despite having fucking 3 less interchanges than the other side was just fucking ridiculous. Proud.
Really? There you go. So
it was the greatest win of the season by any team in the game thus far. Possibly last 2 seasons.
it wasn't. It was the culmination of destiny. It's like me saying that if I hold a rock in my hand and then open my hand, that rock hitting the ground was the greatest drop of anything. It was always just going to fucking hit the ground.
The Manly were always going to beat Campbell.
Now, I
asked
you this privately, but I'll ask you now on air. Do you feel some relief now? Because all year, every time you go into a game, you're freaking out that will this be the game where fucking effort face Tommy Tardvojevic biscuits himself, and it's finally happened. So, is that relief for you? You don't have to worry about that?
You're basing a false premise to start with. I'm never fucking stressed about any game or worried about anything happening.
Not about the result of the game.
You said shitting yourself that this would happen. Not worried at all. And you know why I'm not worried?
Why is that? Because you've...
What you just fucking saw. It doesn't fucking matter who we put up. The Desi system is indomitable.
Okay. So I'll ask...
Defense is impregnable. The attack is unstoppable. The Desi system, in fact, has rested Dylan Walker and Tommy Trbojevic for important games down the track when they actually count, because last year he made the mistake of fucking losing them before the finals.
I'll ask the nation to keep Nate informed of Manly's record as the season goes on without fucking biscuit ankles.
Go for it. We won most of the games last year without him too, as we will this year.
Okay, that's cool.
He's had biscuit ankles. He didn't fucking injure his ankle, you dumb cunt. If you're going to troll, at least fucking come correct.
Well, biscuit hamstrings just doesn't have the same fucking ring to it.
No, the ring of
substance.
The ring of accuracy.
Well, the ring of accuracy? Okay, we'll start calling him fucking liability then.
Oh, yeah, because we win every fucking game that he takes the field in, and we win like fucking 70% of the ones he doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah, massive liability.
Okay.
Massive fucking liability.
I'm sure this year will just be fucking roses for the entire Manly Sea Eagles club, and it will not have anything to do with the karma it deserves for just being full of shit cunts and wife beaters.
Fuck, wife beaters.
Well, listen, sorry, wife and baby beaters. I know you. I understand you like
fucking babies.
Dylan Walker.
He doesn't fucking beat a baby.
He's fucking pulled his wife to the ground while she was holding the baby.
Oh, if you saw the court, they fucking said nothing happened. He didn't do goddamn thing.
Yes. Yes.
The glove did not fit. And so therefore he was a quit. And so the mighty Manly Sea Eagles continue their rampage through the NRL, soon to be anchored by fucking Brendan Big Dick Elliott.
At Benso said, very surprised how Manly withstood losing all those players. Very strong club culture of not letting each other down.
You're goddamn right, Benso.
Raiders players were determined to raise Ricky's blood pressure as high as possible. So many coach-killing plays. Mr. Sharkmeister said, surely Scott has to go. Storm let him go for a reason. Raiders have Bailey Simonson waiting for a game. Fuck, the cat's back.
Look, Simonson is a great player, but I don't think that the Storm let Scott go. I mean, he was a financial situation. There was more offer. He was off contract. There was more offer. Because if you look at the centers, if you've got to fucking run Branko Lee out in the centers,
who is another fucking example of just the Bellamy solidness coming through.
Yeah, but solidness, but in a game where you do need to score points to win games.
Chucky on Twitter said, Biscuit Tardovic. That is all. Correct? That is all. He is fucking biscuit ankle.
Players relishing injuries to people relishing injuries to players fucking disgust me. And
they're not.
And I'm glad you're not a member.
How is anyone? No one's enjoying it.
You're loving it.
No.
If I had the fucking phone out, I could have taken a video of your fucking stupid smile.
It's the inevitability.
Look, you can say it anyway. You could say you like the smell of roasting meat when you're really trying to say that you wish you were fucking manning the fucking kilns in Auschwitz. You can fucking paint it any way you like, but the fact is,
can I just suggest we are very heavily Jewish. We really need to tone this shit down. I do not want to have to fucking remove my foreskin on YouTube in solidarity.
And may I just say, was already gone. I'm with you, my brethren. Oh, fuck.
Jason said, "You cunts are like Nostradamus." Well, no. See, this is what I'm getting to. It's like those fucking weather reporters saying that there's a 50% chance of rain. The next day, no matter who you are or no matter what happens, you go, well, yep, fucking there you go. The weather guy was right. You say that Tardovic is going to biscuit himself. Eventually, you're going to be right. Lachlan said, biscuits apparently lose their structural integrity when exposed to milk. Poor Turbo, can't pass backwards or play a full season. Tim says, full credit Manly. Was going to be a big, hard slog of a game, but the moment that they lost 2 players, Canberra got cocky and just thought about playing the long game. Manly stood up and pulled our pants down. Also, Curtis Scott needs to be dropped or benched. Simonson to wing, Kotrick to sender next week. There you go.
They really don't like Curtis Scott.
You gotta remember, again, when he was in the Storm system as well, there were just too many fucking brain explosions. There were too many, I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it wasn't like he wasn't the only guy missing tackles out there or anything.
No, he wasn't.
I mean, they scored a couple of tries on that. All the
He
tries
wasn't,
came
but
down that side,
it's like BJ. He just accentuates the fucking half poor decisions everywhere else and makes everyone else's job harder. That's all.
Yeah. And look at Canberra fans. If you're looking for a real reason why this happened, this result, it wasn't like Canberra went looking ahead and thinking they were just going to win and all that sort of thing. They did their best, but ultimately they lost the game because you deserve it. The Cronulla Sutherland Sharks 20 defeat the Bulldogs. Yeah, it's the next game. Yep, 20 defeat the Bulldogs 18 at Bankwest. The Sharks 20, a hat trick to Sione Katoa. Well done, son. Bryson Goodwin with a try, 2 of 4 conversions to SJ. The Dogs 18 tries to Hopper Jr., Kieran Foran, and Christian Crichton. Avarillo 3 of 3 conversions.
Sharks.
Almost got embarrassing for the Sharkies.
Sharks. Like, again, I know your situation isn't ideal. I know
what aspect of this situation?
Chad.
Yeah.
But you have the player that should be one of the probably top 5 most excited with these new rule changes and how it opens up the field in Johnson. You have a creative partner for him in Moylan, who, if you remember back to when he was actually at a club that knew how to use him to his potential, as a fucking match-winning force, it was all broken field play, which is what he should be doing for you. Who has arguably one of the top 3 New South Wales Origin players of the last 5 series in Wade Graham.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's fair.
How are you struggling to put wins together against fucking cellar dwellers like the Dogs? Really? How are you losing to the Dragons? I don't understand what it is. Is it the Fafita thing of everyone's got their own individual chip on their shoulder and they're not actually playing for each other? Is that the thing? Is there disharmony within the club? Do they need a Flano style coach that just doesn't cop any shit and is there to fucking crack heads and do it? If you go into the Sharks, how do you turn that situation around? If you're the coach,
get rid of the fucking passengers.
Okay, so
Chad Townsend, Aaron Woods, Andrew Fafita.
Yep.
Fafita has been good in
Yes.
his life. So I think maybe you could just crack down on him and put some parameters in place and get him down to a fucking fighting weight to start with.
Yeah.
Because holy shit, he's blown up.
Yeah.
Flick fucking Woods can play for, well, fucking there's no one playing in the lower grades because of the Rona. So
Yeah.
just flick him to, I don't know, what, he can play piss ponies in his own house. I don't care what he does. And for Townsend, flick.
Yeah.
I mean, injuries are going to prevent certain scenarios from happening.
Yeah.
But I'd be flicking those useless 3 pricks or putting them on notice immediately.
Yes. But again, we come back to the thing.
Sean Johnson, statistically this season, he's got the most fucking assists and And all this, I mean, he's
Yeah,
actually having a, statistically speaking,
I feel
a career
I
best.
feel as if that is almost a loaded Dally M style stat in how, for the same way that Luke Brooks is all of a sudden a fucking player of something of the year at the end of the season.
Yeah.
You know?
What I was just saying is, Sean Johnson he's not the problem at all. Put him with someone.
I know, but in
That's
the
not an
overall thing,
anchor.
so if Sean Johnson's having a career best season,
Mm-hmm.
where is that impact on the team and its wins on the park, though? That's what I'm trying to say.
Well,
I'm
I
not
mean,
saying Johnson's underperforming.
There's 13 players on the field at any given
Yeah,
time.
true.
And when you've got absolute non-factors like Chad Townsend fucking contributing nothing on the other side, it comes down to that situation where it's very easy for the defense to read. It's all coming from Sean Johnson.
Yeah, correct.
Chad ain't going to do a goddamn thing.
Yeah.
So...
But the other thing
honestly,
is...
you just watch left and watch Wade Graham and, has he got Dugan new? Okay, I know what's going to happen there.
But even that, how many times have we seen play go out to Graham and you're like, oh, this is pretty obvious what's going to happen here. Oh, shit, they're not stopped. Oh, they can't. Oh, no one could have stopped that.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's that style of player.
Yep.
And especially when the passengers that you're speaking about there, the only one of those that potentially comes back to hurt you is Fafita.
Yeah, which is why, rather than flick him outright, you try and,
he only comes back to hurt you versus you.
Yeah.
Whereas the ones you hate are the ones who go and perform against everyone because they make you look fucking stupid.
Yep.
The ones that only come back, if he goes to another club, he'll have maximum 2 good games a year when he plays Cronulla.
Yeah.
They can safely...
Even Woods, what was it, the week before last, was it?
Yeah.
He had a fucking great game.
That's
Played
it.
a blinder.
Correct.
Probably the best game he's ever played in the Sharks.
Excuse me.
Where the fuck is that week on week?
Correct. And
he's just such a pillow, that dude.
He 100% is. 100% is.
But doggies, I mean, look, Dean Pay is one of these guys that looks like he's in the firing line, could be the next to go. I believe they're not going to execute him immediately. And he's probably working with the least in terms of rostered talent in the competition this year. Titans could probably argue that as well, but they're definitely down there in that respect.
Yeah.
But you got to give it to him in terms of just the general fight and things like that. That's you see that kind of attitude in the Broncos, and they're not losing games 59-0, and they're probably winning some.
Yes.
You put that attitude in the Titans. That if you just put that general determination into a side with more talent, you're going to get great results. So, I don't think that Dean Pay's necessarily got the recruitment chops because, he has had this team for a couple of years now and the selection chops. But, there's something and whether it's just off the back of, Kieran Foran and Will Hopewadi, proven performers that actually, seem to lift every game. I mean, if they can drag the rest of them up, I don't know.
Yeah. I do really wonder about where the Dogs are going from here, because I think a lot of their players are at their cap in terms of what they can produce. Good move again, getting DWZ out of fullback. He is unfortunately one of those players that will play his best football trying to get into a position that he's not going to play his best football in, and you can see that. That hit he put on Moylan, that was fucking fantastic. But shit like that. You need a bunch more players doing stuff like that on the regs. At our friend GT351_Johns. Loss we had to have so our PM wouldn't shit his dacks at Macca's again. He obviously had a word to NRL to give the drug-fucked grubs a hand. It worked. That's the only thing that got the Shire grubs up in this. A 2-point win against this Dogs side is like a loss. And that's from a Dogs fan.
Yeah.
Fan-fucking-tastic. Jason said that loss probably hurt more than the one last week against the Roosters. The boys put in all night and gave it a red-hot go, but alas, it was not enough. Wakem was solid, and our forwards laid a decent platform, but that edge defence of ours, that needs an overhaul. And the last word of that goes to at Special K Online. All caps. Can someone please send me the Mayor of New Zealand's Twitter so I can escalate this international incident? Hashtag The Port John's cuck.
Yet no mention of Chad.
No, Chad's white.
Well, yeah, no shit, but I mean, like, the whole thrust of his tweet would have changed. He wouldn't be talking about New Zealand if it were Chad. I mean, he's talking about, Sean Johnson. But, yeah. Nice one, Sharkies.
Yes.
Okay, previews for this week. Kicking off Thursday night, Panthers versus the Rabbitohs in the loaded fucking, I don't know what you call it. It's like the Russian roulette game slot. It has the potential to make your whole weekend great, or the potential to fuck like a legitimate half a week because games are still being played while you're stewing.
I am the master of my own destiny, and I don't give a fuck what happens after this game. I'll be invested while the game's on. But the most important football of the week for me will be the under 6 Hornets.
The Hornets.
The under 6 Hornets who had their first training run post-Rona tonight.
They're allowed to play on the weekend?
No.
So what are they doing? Just training again?
Yes.
There's gonna be a little seven-a-side battle against each other on Saturday or something.
Now I wasn't around when this so-called man called Jesus walked the earth, showing immense kindness and empathy and compassion to his fellow human beings. But fuck me, I came close to what that must have looked like tonight when I saw a grown man trying to coach 10 under 6s that have not been able to have any sport for 3 months.
So it's like even the ones that don't have ADD have got ADD at this point.
It was like they were on meth. So I now see how that religion can last 2,000 years. Not so much on the child rape. I don't think I'll ever get that. But well done to the fucking Hornets. Thank you to the coach. And that will be the most important game of the week this weekend. But Panthers Souths. Draw doesn't get any fucking easier for the Pennies. They've had some solid opponents back to back to back now, and coming up against this Rabbits team with Cody Walker in it, with a strong fucking running offense, which really is the weakness to what the Panthers have showed as lapses in defense recently. Like if you look at the 10 minutes that killed us against the Eels.
Yep.
It was when they decided to fucking stop trying to go around us and run through us, especially on the fringes. Yep. So there's some real danger signs there. In saying that, I think the fact that we have two sides of the field covered, in that we've got genuine threats both sides. I don't think we'll get this over South, and I'm going to go down to the fact that just Latrell being able to inject himself like he's been doing may be a little bit too much for this young defence. So I'm going to tip Souths.
Tipping against your own team? Come on, man.
Well, people don't...
You got this.
People don't listen to this show to hear me fucking jack off about... the
Panthers.
Unrealistic outcomes. Hashtag eerie of Cleary.
Yes. Okay. Look, I think that the Panthers are in better documented form at the moment than the Rabbitohs. So if they lose, it would be.
Look, if we get 1-6 again call this week, we'll beat them fucking 50-0.
All right, there you go. Storm take on the Warriors. Pub slot. Jubilee. What do we got here for the Storm? Addo Carr and Jerome Hughes return. So they're both big ins. And pretty much immediately...
Well, Addo Carr was on dad duties.
They immediately rectified the two biggest weak points of the side last week.
Yes.
Riley Drax drops the reserves. Sevi drops out, which will no doubt delight Storm fans. Christian Welch in the front row. Brandon Smith benched. And once again, for the third week in a row, we'll expect them to do the old switcheroo. The Warriors. Okay, so Carl Lawton comes in to replace Wade Egan. Eliasa Katoa is injured. Jack Murchie comes in for him. Jared Beal drops to reserves because Mamalo's back. And Chanel Harris-Tavita and Isaiah Papali are elevated to the interchange. Look, I mean, it's academic to speak about this. The Warriors, we talked about the bounce from sides that have a sacked coach. I just don't feel like there is the bounce. I mean, everything coming out of New Zealand camp this week is how distraught they've been, and how much Steve was like the guy, the glue that held the team together, and all this shit. So I don't expect to see a bounce in the Storm. I mean, they've got a reason to bounce.
Yes.
So I think Storm will have little to no problems there. The Roosters take on the Dragons at Bankwest. The Roosters side, Verrills comes onto the bench. Tupanua drops to reserves. Dragons. Okay, so Jason Saab comes in after Jordan Pereira's suspension. Blake Laurie starts at prop. Josh Kerr on the bench. Jackson Ford replaces James Graham, who is officially off to England.
Yes.
And Laffey in reserves. So it'd be nice for the Dragons to give a bit of game time to Jason Saab and perhaps rekindle the love for him and stop him wanting to get a release.
Tell you what, I would hope that once James Graham gets his Super League out of the way, or does whatever he wants to do, I would welcome the fuck out of him in my club as a forwards coach.
Yeah. As like a builder of culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As being able to get in there and your head coach having, the final fucking heart-to-heart and all of this stuff. But for him really being able to fucking call out, do you fucking have the minerals, son?
Yeah, yeah.
What an asset he'd be to a coaching roster.
And because you can say that stuff with the English accent too.
Yeah.
And he can walk up to, you get like, eye to eye with someone like fucking Paul Vaughan. And you go, do you know what nemesis means?
Well, and realistically, to get up to fucking any forward in the game and just call them out. Like, you are fucking soft as baby shit, cunt.
Yeah, look, Dragons. Roosters by how many? Place your bets. Over 30?
Yeah.
I reckon it's unsustainable to keep, pounding everybody. I think they might even keep it under 30.
Really?
The margin, that is.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. The Dragons have been showing signs of life.
Okay.
And it's easy enough to beat up on the minnows like the Sharkses and the Titanses of the world.
I should probably also put out there that I've got a multi that includes the Storm and the Roosters. So expect one of them to fucking lose.
So that's just to win?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I feel like you're fairly safe just going for the win,
Well,
is there any line they have to beat, or it's just literally win?
I've never placed a bet where I've gone, I don't think this would happen. But I have not won all of my bets.
No, but they just have to win. They don't have to cover a line or anything.
Just have to win.
All right. The Cowboys take on the Knights at the Queensland Country Bank Toilet Bedpan, whatever we're fucking calling it, I've forgotten. Okay, so Ruben Cotter comes in for Corey Jensen with the Cowboys. No other changes. The Knights, TWiL is in for Bradman Best in the centres. Look, I think the Knights are... Well, I mean, the Cowboys do have one of the only home field advantages in the competition at this stage of the season.
Yes, they do.
That being said, I don't know if you saw a lot of this. I saw a lot of it online in the lead up to when Hamiso was being picked for the Cowboys. The fucking excitement reverberating through the fan bank, like finally.
Yes.
Like finally, this guy. He's not very good. Over the last 2 weeks, been watching him. When you talk about hype machines and all that sort of stuff, he's like the hypest hype machine in the Cowboys at the moment.
Yeah.
And he's not particularly fast. And I just don't know what they see in him. So, for their sake, I hope he shows something, but...
Yeah.
Not seeing it. Knights, they're rumbling along pretty well at the moment. The omission of Bradman Best is not going to cost them too dearly, I don't think, especially when you're playing a team like the Cowboys.
Yep.
Talmalolo will get 300 metres, but it will all come to naught.
Yeah.
As the Knights, I think, will win fairly comfortably.
Yes, they will.
Broncos versus the Titans.
Oof.
Suncorp Stadium, Saturday afternoon. So, Tessie New starts at fullback, and that's replacing Jermaine Asako, who's been sent to the bench.
Fucking
Often
hell.
Gowie,
Have you heard a Broncos fan that's happy with that?
no.
Like, can this new kid kick goals?
This is the thing about this is that Tessie New is a player who is potentially going to be courted by many other sides because he's a great young player coming through.
Yeah.
So Broncos will give him a starting slot and try and convince him to love them and stay with them. Similarly, Tom Dearden apparently is a chance of getting bumped up into the bench as well as a warning shot fired across the bow of the SS Milford
Yeah.
to say, fucking do something,
Yeah.
or you are at the risk of being replaced
Yeah.
by this kid.
Yep.
So, in and of itself, and also to give Dearden some game time, so he doesn't get poached because apparently Melbourne Storm are fairly interested in him.
Okay.
The value of the education emanating from the esteemed institution of Harvard has never been more fucking devalued than in 2020 at the hands of Anthony fucking Seibold.
Correct.
Man, this is usually like the big brother beating up on the little brother, and the Titans kind of, they rise up for this game. If no other games in the year, they rise up for this one.
Yep.
Now, it's a competition to be playing for second and the worst Queensland team. It's a playoff.
It is. There's an opportunity here for the Titans because the Broncos have so much of that new stuff. Like we've seen it recently, when do coaches just making massive changes like that pay off straight away?
Mm-hmm.
But for the Titans, if they play the way that they did against the Tigers, then they can win this game. But that's the question. Do they have that in them again against a team that's supposedly on the ropes as well? So,
Look,
fucking flip a coin.
The Broncos forwards, I think they're going to get the job done for them. And, if nothing else, that'll probably be enough to give them the edge.
Yep.
The thing about the Titans, it gives me the shits. I mean, they put Mitch Rain in at 9, and they send Aaron Clark back to the, non-playing reserves. And it's like Aaron Clark debuted when they beat the Tigers.
Yeah.
Last week, they copped it. But, like, they weren't absolutely smashed or anything.
No.
And I just feel like they just kind of pick. They don't pick and stick, and they just shuffle shit. Holbrook just shuffles shit around too much. I mean, there's some injury stuff like young Tony Mapea, so Dale Copley goes in there, and that's a good change. But just fucking stick with the lineup for a couple of weeks and see what happens.
Yeah.
Look, I'm hoping for the best for the Titans in this game, but I'm expecting the worst. The Eels take on the Raiders at Bankwest. Another big clash this one. Brad Takarangi replaces Penny Terapo on the interchange. Nathan Brown's been suspended. I think he copped a 2-weeker, I think, all up. So he'll be out again.
Yep.
The Raiders, unchanged squad from last week. So Raiders fans, get hype. Curtis Scott, number 4, coming at you.
Yes. Rough one after a game that the Raiders probably thought they should have won.
And let's be honest, without Moses and without fucking Tapau in that side, I mean, they felt they should have won it regardless before anything else happened.
Yeah, that's it. Tough for them to go straight into a match against a team that's just on song.
Yeah.
At the moment, I don't see the Eels losing enough. Even though last week was a big game for them, I don't think it was one of those ones that exhausted them and will fuck them this week. So I can't go against Parramatta.
The way Canberra are playing at the moment, I just can't imagine them throwing offense at the Eels that amounts to anything like what they encountered last week.
Yeah, that's it.
I think they'll have a much easier job, and consequently, I don't think the Raiders are going to be able to apply as much pressure to Mitchell Moses and sort of render him to send him into his shell and make him a non-factor. I just don't think they have the ability to do the things to stop Parramatta being the best version of themselves.
Yes.
The mighty Manly Sea Eagles take on the Sharks at Central Coast Stadium. Manly Big Dick Elliott in fullback, as he did probably nearly all of last season. Lachlan Croker goes into the 6, and we get the return of George Tafua and Marty Tapau as well, with Cade Cuss, one of my boys, on the bench. Sharks. Fafita starts, and Hamlin Ueli is benched.
Yes.
That's it. Otherwise, they're going to roll with the same side. They're going to roll with Chad Townsend. I guess the other question is, well, with Brad Parker being named, I mean, surely, and Matt Moore, I guess, there's probably, it doesn't say there's HIA things, unless they've passed them already and they were that easy, and I don't know, but I mean, like, both of them were fucking knocked out. And Matt Moylan especially, that was a fucking car crash.
Yeah.
Like, just the actual whiplash of his head.
Yeah.
It was just one of those real opportune ones. Like, you get a couple, you get different types of hits. Like, you see someone like,
that was the worst hit. Sorry, that was the worst whiplash I've seen since Dean Farre ended Benji Marshall's fucking half brother in the game that Penrith played against the Dogs last year, and it was exactly the same positioning where he'd just taken the ball and he was drifting towards and looking the other way.
Yep.
And just absolutely fucking bent him in half.
Yep.
Terrible.
And it was one of those ones where, like, rather than, like, you see, like, when like Matai, like, they'll have a prop running straight at him and hit him so hard and snap him back the other way.
Yeah.
This was the one where he came in from the side.
Yeah.
And just kind of like fucking blindsided him,
Yep.
That sort of thing, which is with no realization it's coming.
Yes.
There's no, like, in that steady, and that just, like, the snap of his head was fucking crazy. But look, there's no mention in the notes that I have here that either of them had to replace anything, so all good. I think Manly comfortable. We fucking, like Glenn was saying about the Tigers own the Cowboys. We own the Sharks. We own that fucking stadium as well. And I can't
tell you what,
there's
Sharks,
no way of stopping us.
like, really, if you can't beat a fucking injury depleted Manly side away from their home, then really, fucking forget all relevancy you ever had to this league for that 1 year.
Exactly. Just start the counter. What will be, like 46 or something?
Yeah.
That's it. Start the timer again.
Yep.
None of you who are listening to this now will survive to see another premiership.
Correct.
The Doggies take on the Tigers at Bankwest. The Dogs, what do they got here? Crichton suspended. Kerrod Holland comes into the back line.
Hasn't he fucking fallen from grace?
Yeah, I mean, because he's not very good.
Yeah, I know. But
falling from grace? I mean, was he ever on grace to fall from?
Yeah, that's true.
Ask a Dogs fan what they think.
That's true.
Cogger on the bench. Nick Meaney and Tolman are in the 22, so whether that eventuates. Lachlan Lewis still out of the 17. Tigers. Okay, what do we got here? Jennings injured at Campbelltown last week. Talau comes in to replace him. Oliver Clark and Eisenhuth replace Musgrove and TWiL, who are also injured at Campbelltown on the weekend. And Elijah Taylor joins the interchange.
Yes.
So, you have to go to the Tigers.
You have to.
The Tigers are a theoretically, and from what we've seen so far, practically better side.
Yes.
Doggies are these are the sorts of games that traditionally the
first
Tigers
half,
can lose.
The first half that the Tigers put in against the Cowboys, half of that beats the Dogs.
Yep.
Even if the Dogs mount the same sort of comeback.
Yeah, I mean, scoring points is always going to be the Dogs' problem, and I mean,
Yes.
it's so when you're playing the Dogs, it's almost like a race to 16 or a race to 20.
Yep.
If you can get there, like the Sharks let 18 in against them last week, and that was
Yeah. Correct.
outstanding attack from the Bulldogs. Look, the Tigers must win surely.
Yes.
I've tipped the Panthers to win 10 points apparently too.
Have you?
There you go. Better
Fucking
go
well
change that after your advice. Once again, despite best laid plans, here we are. 1 hour and 54 minutes
Jesus
into the
Christ.
fucking episode. This week, first comment comes from Sean Dog, who contacted us through the extremely unorthodox method of the comments page on the website.
Oh,
Morning, gents. Long time listener, first time caller. I better come up with something profound. Sucked in, Broncos. You suck. Suckiest suckers that ever sucked. Nice one, Knights. Finally, my son is 8 years old, and can finally watch his dad's team with some hope.
oof.
What else do we have here? Toto said, now that the Poor Storm have to base their camp in New South Wales, are they everyone's favourite third team? No, they are fucking not. Not even a little bit.
No.
Trent said, the New Zealand Warriors debacle take on Steve's sacking. Should the players walk? Is it tied to Isaac Moses? Surely they have someone lined up to do this. Is Uncle Wayne packing the car with Darius and Jimmy the Jet? Asked and answered, sir, and no on the Uncle Wayne stuff. Trent also had one. He said, the player swap has worked well this year, for the Tigers anyway. Is coach swapping the way forward? For example, I see positives to both sides if Paul Green and John Morris were to go to the Sharks and Cowboys respectively. Certainly might be more financially responsible way of doing things. Not sure who would take Mary though. Look, I think we've got an existing coach swap, in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only just started working for one of the sides.
Here's this shit thing. With players, you can do a player swap, right? And Harry Grant has gone to the Tigers, and that's a great success.
Yes.
Right? If you did a coach swap, you've only realistically got one head coach. So even though the Tigers are fucking doing terribly at the moment and did things like lose to the Titans, they're the only team to lose to the Titans in a year.
Yes.
But the Harry Grant experiment is still a success. Can you imagine, though, if that was a coach? Would that be considered a success? That's why coach swaps don't work. Because there's only one of them and everything lands on their shoulders.
Yeah, I just don't think it could never work.
No.
Certainly not as like an organised thing. I mean, if it happens to turn out that way, like the situation where with Bennett and Seabold, where it was just so poisonous, they both signed for 1 year down the track at the clubs the other was at. Obviously, you can do a fuck of a lot of things in 1 year to shore up your position at your next club,
yes,
or salt the earth at the existing club. And I'd like to think better of people, and they wouldn't be salting the earth at that club, but they might be trying to extricate players that they love at that club and land them 12 months later down at the new club.
Yes.
So that, that's a different sort of scenario. I can't imagine there'd be any like straight swaps though, just because they decided, let's try something different. Joel said, shout out to the guy who yelled out, "You suck, Darius." However, he must be pretty used to hearing it, albeit in the form of a directive from Wayne.
That is correct.
John said, what are the stepdad's expectations for the Panthers this year? I would say top 4 and or prelim final appearance, else it should be considered a disappointing season.
Yeah, look, the premiership's obviously the goal, and I think that we've got the cattle to do it. I'm not sure that the experience is there across the team to do it. For the Panthers, performance has never been the thing. Over the last couple of years, it's been consistency. And this is what's pleasing me the most, be it win, be it lose. But there's consistency in the performances, and there's consistency in them doing the things that they need to do to win big games well. So, top 4 definitely this year.
Expectations, always premiership. To settle for less is fucking loser talk. Crispy. So, if it wasn't for that touchy, Manly would be sitting by themselves on top of the ladder now. Correct. Unfortunate, but it's the way it is.
Oh my god, the fucking ref's faulting.
Well, it's basically a factual thing, but what's the fucking point in dwelling on it? Like, it is what it is, and that was weeks ago. Fucking move on, fella. Where are we? Ross said, I'm so confused on the obstruction ruling now. It appears to me they make the call on whether they want to award the try or not. I reckon I saw 5 identical over the weekend, 2 awarded, 3 not. On the 2 awarded, they said he received the ball on the outside of the blocker, nothing else to look at and move on, such as interference on the defender. The other 3, nothing about where the ball was received, and ruled the shifting defender was denied an opportunity to defend, no try. None of these were in a Knights game, but then in the Storm Knights game, this is because he gave it the week before, game, Finucane running a decoy contacts Clemmer and he gets a penalty to ice the game. Look, obviously the first factor is how it's set up by the referee on the field. And then then there is the the receiving of the ball on the outside shoulder, and that is a black and white rule. If it doesn't pass that test,
Yep.
then it's instantly a no try, and it doesn't matter what happened anywhere else.
Correct.
Then presumably that is cleared. Then they can go to look at other aspects of the play. But I think that there would need to be pretty. I mean, if everything in terms of where the ball was taken checks out and is cleared, it would take some serious fuckery to get it disallowed from that point on.
Correct.
Just with the black and white way that the rule is set up these days.
Yep.
I'll have to look at it a bit more closely. I mean, I haven't had a massive problem with anything over the last couple of weeks.
Again, except the fucking diving cunts, but...
Well, I saw a guy that, obstructed by a runner who didn't get out of the line. Get out of the line. At the end of the day, the rule.
Yeah.
There's really only two things to worry about.
Yep.
Get yourself out of don't stop in the fucking line.
Yeah.
And take the ball on the outside.
Yeah. And it does seem to me, I think if you go back and look at it, there is a lot of stuff about, it's adjudicated differently and whatever. But if you look at it, a lot of the ones where you may think that it's adjudicated differently, it is just the fact that they keep running through, and then the defensive player tracks the player running through and moves towards them. That seems to be the...
So, like, if you're a decoy, just basically just blast through and just stay out of the fucking way. Like, that's, really... And, it happens, like, disallowed, and penalties and things happen because of them not doing that all the time.
Yep.
And I get the idea, I get it, you sort of, your job's over and you're so slow to a jog or just start getting ready. You don't want to be sprinting 10 metres down the field when you've got to take your position for the next play.
Correct.
If it doesn't score a try. But, I get it, but it's just, it's just one of these things you've just got to do to cross the T's.
Yep.
Andrew said, what about Ashley Klein totally dissing Cam Smith by asking him 3 times if he was going to challenge the call? Fucking magnificent. We love it. Where are we? Stuart. PVL mentioned the next team to be added will be in Brisbane, so it's rugby league heartland instead of chasing other AFL hotspots. And he goes on to make a point saying that the next new team should be the Melbourne Storm and shift them out of Melbourne, dump them in southeast Queensland because they haven't, and this is something we spoke about in the members podcast a couple of weeks ago too, about whether or not they provided any value or enough value in Melbourne, because we, rather than marking AFL and like just putting a team where an AFL team is, Melbourne Storm hasn't seen an influx of Victorian talent into rugby league.
Yes.
So they haven't really delivered on that respect, and therefore they're taking more from the game than they are giving.
Yes.
So putting them in, look, I think the Storm, you probably have to stay there. I think it's not realistic to move the Storm. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be, now it's all starting to heat up again. Now Volandis is talking about, it's if they expand, it's going to be a southeast Queensland or second Brisbane team. Western Corridor started piping up again. Everyone's getting frisky.
Yeah, look, I get the logic on the Storm. I think there are other options to fix that issue, though. If your issue there, it seems to me that in that one, the issue isn't who do we need to be the second Brisbane team. The issue is the Storm an effective use of resources. And unfortunately, they have a very fucking good example in front of them with what the AFL does when they move into other markets. The AFL come in, like I was at footy training tonight.
Yep.
Right? And my young fella plays with a good mate of his. I've been a mate of his dad for years.
Yep.
And they turned up, and he turned up to a rugby league training session with an Auskick backpack. Right? And that Auskick backpack was given to him, and it was a flimsy fucking, thing. This thing is not something that you would pack up and take on holidays with you because it's rugged and you could trek and hike and do all of this fucking great shit with it.
Yep.
So it's cost them fuck all.
Yep.
But it was a free thing given to the kid, and now he's taking his footy stuff to it.
Yep.
Yep. How does that... And yes, I do understand in that example that the kid's not playing AFL, he is still playing rugby league, but there's the exposure.
It's just the imprinting on a young mind at an early stage.
Yeah.
Yep.
Spot
Nathan said, "What's your take on James Graham going back to the Super League? Is there even a Super League? I haven't been following, but I know the UK is a mess with Corona." It's true. Look, James Graham is the classic example of when the body is giving out,
Correct.
but the spirit and the mind is still super willing.
Yeah.
He's going to serve out what will no doubt be an extremely shortened season in the UK Super League.
Yep.
And then move on to the next phase of his life. And in times like this, when you are isolated, I mean, he's down here, presumably with his immediate family, wife, kids.
Yes.
He'd have, presumably parents, or her parents, grandparents, all that sort of stuff over there. And when shit is real, I mean, I can understand the desire to want to get back to that.
To England?
Yeah, I mean, he's English. I mean, it's, you would think that he's been down here long enough now. He's been down here for like fucking 8 years. Like, he's been down here long enough to understand that Australia shits on the UK in every way.
Yeah.
But he still wants to go back there. And that's how you know that the heart's willing, the spirit's willing, the body's broken, and the mind is gone.
Yes. Correct.
Daniel says, "Is this the worst year for coaches in the NRL's history? Half the comps coaches are apparently under pressure." Mary, Dean Pay. We've lost one, so we'll count him as that's 3. Who else done? Paul Green, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be it, though, right?
Well,
Holbrook's his first year. He's honeymoon. He's got no pressure.
Again,
Seabold is not going to fucking be under pressure.
Not at all.
I'm just working my way down the coast here.
Yeah, Green's under pressure, but like Green won a premiership.
Yep.
And just never kept it together after that. And I think he was buoyed by the fact that all of a sudden that team outperformed that year. They scraped into the finals and made the grand final somehow.
Yep. What do you think about it? Like, you got Bellamy, Sticky, Wayne Bennett. He's fine.
Yeah.
Mary we mentioned. It's only like 3. Like it's not half.
No,
it's barely a quarter.
No.
So
Mary's not even under pressure. He's been told he's got the full support of the board.
Yeah, but you know what that means.
No,
he's definitely sacked.
Pay's not. Yeah.
That'd be it.
Yep.
All right. Ryan, after the Seagulls versus Faders game on the weekend, how much do you think Manly should sell the movie rights to Hollywood for this epic tale and bravery and sacrifice in these unprecedented times? Clearly, this is more of a winner than something like The Longest Yard. Also, do you think Ryan Reynolds will do a great job with DCE's character? Yes, and yes, and sell the rights for heaps. I mean, it is an epic story, and it would certainly, consign things like Friday Night Lights and Remember the Titans and everything like that to the dustbins of history as lesser sporting titles.
Can I just share a tweet? I've just seen Lottie Takiri tweet.
You follow Lottie Takiri?
No, someone else has retweeted it onto my timeline.
Glenn?
No.
What's he said?
I know it's a long way away, but David Nofaluma deserves to be in the conversation come state of origin reckoning for New South Wales.
Over my fucking dead body.
More. Now, fucking, I would just like, and I've just, put this out there, but that is the sort of thing that comes out of the brain that has the sort of DNA that produces children that are scared of elevators. Okay? Fuck off, Lottie. Oh my God. I cannot begin to fucking describe to you the level of stupidity that comes up. And maybe this is why so many coaches are under pressure, because this is what ex-players think. Is this the caliber of future coach that we have in the game? I'm scared. Climate change won't get us. Shit rugby league takes will.
I saw Soward saying that like the other day that Chad Townsend and Moylan should be the halves for the Sharks.
Yeah.
Fucking calm down, people.
Cooked.
Jordan, with all the talk of coaches being up on the blocks for poor performances, why has Seabold's name not come up more often? The Broncos have looked like they don't want to be there, and with a legitimately good forward pack on their best day, they should absolutely be stomping cunts.
Yes.
His name sort of has come up, but it's not realistic, I think, because it's just I think he's one of these coaches that's in a position where it's just far too expensive
Yeah.
to get rid of him. Maybe the current flux of the Isaac Moses situation might make things easier, like it did with the Warriors. I'm not sure, because remember, there's like 9 Moses clients
Yeah.
in the playing ranks, or is it 8 and Seabold or something? So I don't know. What else do we have here? Sam says, please say Seabold sucks in as many languages as possible. If you do your research, that could be like a 15-minute segment.
What the fuck am I getting out of that? I know he sucks, and I only know English. Really?
Look, I like the way I like
that reeks of fucking Harvard bullshit. I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to pull us down to fucking Seabold's level. And you know what? Broncos fans of the past were like teams of the past.
Yes.
They were annoyingly fucking effective. This is shit country.
Maybe next time. Tipping 6 again. Yeah, nah, is in the lead, tied with. It's actually a few of them here. Holy fuck, we've got a massive logjam at the top. Okay, so on top we have tied 6 again. Yeah, nah, One-Eyed Tiger, Nova Clark's June, tips out for the boys. Christian Lind, Cowboy, Goodnight CJ. 1 point, that's 1 through 7. And then we've got Suliasi Vuni Gugu, JBB, and Sneaky Kiwi, 1 point back, rounding out the top 10. That's it for episode 356. Thanks for listening, everyone. As always, you can interact with us on Twitter. So follow at TWI League. Facebook community lives at hashtag TWiLNation. My notes just jumped then. Everyone get in there. It's a great community full of great people. Facebook.com/groups/TWiLNation.
Yes.
A Facebook group, Facebook.com/This Week in League. Tons of new people liking that this week. So thank you very much, guys. Make sure you share the stuff we put up there. We'd appreciate it. And if you'd like to support the show, make sure you drop us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And if you want to go that extra mile, the digital memberships are still available and can be picked up anytime for only $3.99 per month. $1.99 for existing members. Yes. Thank you to those who jumped onto the reissue of the Trust Us shirt. They are now gone into production, and I'll let you know more when I hear back about completion times and things like that. Exciting meetup. With things starting to open up a touch more following the Rona, I am very happy to let you know that Stepdad and I have the flights booked, and we are coming down to Sydney on the afternoon of Saturday, October the 24th. We'll be taking suggestions for the members meetup venue on the Saturday night. We always favour, barbecue and burgers.
Something simple.
Yep, and we're working on our grand final day venue as well at the moment, and so that's looking pretty good. This year, though, pending any regression on the COVID front, if there's like a second or third wave or something, it could shut everything down. But at this stage, we can only really go on what's sort of the rulings at the moment. But we may have to implement a cap on numbers to both functions, the members one on the Saturday night and the one we do on Sunday through the day.
Yep.
Given the members are spread across the globe and interstate, the members one on Saturday night probably won't be too much of a problem. But I think that the grand final day one will definitely be affected in some way, just because with the comings and goings over like what's usually like a 10+ hour day, we get far more than the current 50 that are allowed. At the moment.
So here's what's going to happen at this stage, right? Now this, like the fucking Rona shit, is subject to change. We have the capacity to put in wild card entries. Now, hypothetically, let's say we're working with the current rules and they don't change and they allow us 50 for the venue.
And we're allowed to have one party of 50. Because that's something else that we're dealing with at the moment is
how many parties?
You can only have a maximum party size of 10.
Yes.
In venues.
So, hypothetically, let's say somebody like Swiss Cowboy Carsten says to us, I fucking book flights from Switzerland. I don't know where he lives, fucking Poland or somewhere. It's all the same place. I have flights from there, and I'm coming, and I want to come to your meetup. That's a start. He gets a ticket. in any other year he'd just be able to come along. But that sort of effort, we've got some wildcard entries that we're going to give starts to. So if that's you, hit us up privately. You know, if you're making a big effort and you want to be there. For everybody else, we want to make sure, because we're going to have to take RSVPs and we're going to have to limit numbers. And the easiest way to make sure that cunts turn up if they're going to turn up is for them to have some fucking skin in the game. So we're going to ask you for some cash. This is not for us to make cash. This is just so you've got an investment in there, which means you're more likely to turn up and take advantage of your spot. What we will do is we'll get that cash and everyone will get that equivalent. Whatever you've paid us, you will get that equivalent in drinks at the bar.
Yeah.
So it bypasses us, goes to your drinks. We will also look at the possibility of having seatings, in that we'll have a session in the morning that runs for, a couple of hours. So the people that want to come in the morning and have some brekkie beers with us can do that.
Because we do have because there has been historically an element that sort of come and do our thing until, sort of like 4 or 5 or whatever. And then because they're going to have their own grand final barbecue at their house or something. So then they piss off and do that. So
that's it.
So for those people, that may be something we can make work as well.
Yeah. We'll get it fucking done. But at this stage, Sydney, we will be inside you on grand final day. And we will love to fucking socially distanced ching beers with as many of you as we can.
So Sydney, get your shit together, flatten that fucking curve.
Yeah.
So we can get some more numbers in there.
Yes.
That's it. That's after all of that. That's all. That's all I've got. You got anything else you want to finish on?
Nope.
All right.
Fuck you, Lottie Takiri.
On that note, see you next week.